Hi, this is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. We are continuing with the same topic and we'll wrap it up today with part 5 of this great topic. What makes dynamic pastors? That's what we are asking as a question. And we are dealing with that directly so that you, as a pastor, may pursue to become dynamic pastor. Because it is very important to become dynamic. Because without being dynamic as a pastor, you're going to struggle actually leading the ministry. Or your ministry shall never be sustainable either when you're not dynamic. And this is very, very important. Now, to become dynamic, we know that pastors need to love truth more than the people. So please, love the truth more than the people if you want to be dynamic. And this is very important because sometimes we are actually missing it out and we love the people more than the truth and want to buy the faces of the people and want to please the people, and we don't speak the truth. But love the truth more than the people if you want to be dynamic. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 1, if you look at chapter 13, in fact, look at chapter 13, verse 8. Chapter 13, verse 8 of the book of 1 Corinthians, it will actually speak about loving the truth. And that's very, very important, that you love the truth more than the people. Dynamic pastors love people, of course. They value people, of course, and always help people, of course, but they love the truth more than the people. And that's very important. And this is one important thing that we are not aware of. That when you love the people more than the truth, you will actually buy the faces of the people, because everything that you do, you want to impress the people. But when you stick to the truth while you love the people, it becomes very good balance. You love the truth more, but you still love the people, but you love the truth more than the people. And that's very, very key, that it is going to keep you afloat as a dynamic pastor. Dynamic pastors are those that are able actually to balance this equation of loving the truth more than the people. Now, I want also to say that as a dynamic pastor, you need to speak the truth, stand for the truth, stand in the truth, and loan out the truth to others as well, always. And don't be afraid to speak the truth because of who is around and who is listening to you. Let truth be the truth and stick to the truth. When you do so, you become one of integrity and you become a dynamic pastor because people start trusting you because you believe in the truth. The other thing is you must be task-orientated if you want to become a dynamic pastor. Task-orientated. You cannot really become a dynamic pastor if you are not task-orientated or task-driven. So, in other words, there must be some tasks that you bring and put on the place on the plate for yourself. And we're talking about put programs in place. Make sure that you are having your own program that you follow. Very, very important, because if we are going to speak about dynamism of a pastor, you must be task-orientated as well. Make sure that you put tasks that you will follow. You will actually be able to follow those tasks and do them, because that's the only way you're going to be dynamic. Dynamic pastors concentrate on the tasks at hand, and they refuse to be characterized by the words and actions of other people. Because if the task at hand is running your ministry and running it in a certain way, you're not going to change because other people are saying this and that. Because people are speaking behind your back and say you're a bad person. People are actually gossiping about how you operate your ministry. So if the truth of the matter is to run a ministry in this particular way, keep that and make sure that you are focused on task. Remember, Nehemiah was actually focusing on the task of building the walls or rebuilding the walls, despite of people, Tobias and the other chap, that they're talking bad about him. And as they are actually talking bad about even the walls that he has built, and they actually undermine what he's doing. But he was focused on the task. And it's very important that as the dynamic pastor, you focus on the task and you make sure that you continue doing even when people are discouraging you. You cannot be easily discouraged when you are a dynamic pastor. This is very, very important. And I want to emphasize that keep focusing on the task at hand and don't worry about what people are saying. Dynamic pastors, they know what to do always, and they know how to focus and refocus themselves when they've lost focus. Very important. And why I'm emphasizing this as well is because sometimes you lose focus along the way. Remember, I've said in the past that the ministry work is not a child's play. Very, very serious work, difficult to do, and not gentle either, because ministry work is actually draining, tiresome as well. So you definitely need to make sure that you're focused at all times, but you know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to be derailed along the way. You're going to find yourself doing things that you never planned to do. And that's very key that we emphasize, that dynamic pastors may understand that you need to know what to do. And you also not needing to know only what to do, but you must focus on what you're doing. Remember to have values and ethics, because dynamic people, dynamic pastors have got values and ethics, and they're driven by those. And very, very important as well, that if you are going to be a dynamic pastor, be driven by values and ethics. As it is in the book of Philippians chapter 4, if you look at verse 5 and verse 8, you realize that it is very important to have ethics and values. Godly values and good ethics are the two pillars that undergird the life of a dynamic pastor, that actually underlines the life of a dynamic pastor. So you need values, you need ethics as well. And when you have ethics and values, you remember that you'll have integrity as a result. Your character become recommendable. You become a role model of note when you have got values and ethics, because people look after you. People look up to you. Now remember that the values are that godliness in it. Values is that honesty that you show. When we speak about values, we speak about that character that is strong in you. Family, and do things that uphold others as well. So when you are trustworthy and people can rely on you, that's the ethics. When people can see your honesty and witness your godliness as well, people are actually able to trust you, and that becomes very, very important. So dynamic pastors need to be to have values and ethics, so that when people look at them, they look at them up, and they trust them, and they have faith in them, because they've got character, and they've got also integrity as well. Very, very important that we emphasize that as well. Now, when we speak about dynamic pastors, you speak about people that should be resourceful at all times. And that is actually one character that makes a dynamic pastor: resourcefulness. A dynamic pastor must be resourceful. Matthew chapter 13, verse 52. If you look at it, you'll realize that resourcefulness becomes, therefore, a very, very key thing in a dynamic pastor. Dynamic pastors are resourceful enough to keep leading better and better every day. And you've realized that most of the pastors would be able to do almost everything, particularly when they just started the ministry. And they are able also to teach other people in other areas when people come, so that they are able to actually lead them and guide them. So they become resourceful in the sense of being able to touch and do everything, almost everything. They are resourceful, because when you run your own ministry in the beginning, you have to do a whole lot of stuff before even people come, before the right people come with skills to do what you're doing. You realize that some of the pastors, when they start, they will play the keyboard, they will sing on their own, and they will lead their own praise and worship, and they will preach, and they will do their own announcements. And I'm sure you've realized that that's becoming resourceful. But that cannot remain the same. But I must really say that resourcefulness as well would be ability to give, ability to invest, ability to give money as well into your own vision, and also ability not to misuse money that is there. So resourcefulness can mean different things, but it is very important that we emphasize that dynamic pastors should be resourceful and know how to do things better. They must be focused on kingdom expansion, and kingdom expansion is actually the dream of every dynamic pastor. And they always driven by glorifying Christ, to make sure that they are example, they become the image of the Christ that they're living for, so that to others, as I've said previously, they would know that they are only Bible to other people. So therefore, resourceful pastors would be those, or dynamic pastors will be those that uses their own lives to become exemplary to others, and people can learn from them and become better. I want to conclude here and say dynamic pastors have learned to work with people over time, and they deal with people better. They treat people in a better manner. They respect every single individual, particularly because you know that you're working with people every day, and therefore your approach to people becomes better, because you can only lead better when you deal with people better. Dynamic pastors have got good relational skills as well, and relate with the people well. People love you, you love them. Treat them with respect and honor, and everyone, don't take them for granted. And people deserve to be honored and to be respected. Very, very important. Relational skills are very, very key to dynamic pastors. So therefore, if you want to be a dynamic pastor, so please have relational skills and show good respect to other people, as I've said. Not only do the work with people, but also love to work through people as well. Give people opportunity, let people be able to be involved as well. Respect their work. Don't manage people, don't micromanage people. Make sure that you delegate them of their task and trust them in their trust as well. That makes a dynamic pastor. Work through the people. By so doing, you are able to harness the gifts of the people and the grace of others, building them into a team that brings peace and progress to the church. So skills development of the people, giving them opportunity to actually use their skills in the church is quite important, because you are, at the end of the day, as a dynamic pastor, going to work through the people. And that's very key, that you don't put the work of God on your shoulders only. Don't carry it on your shoulders and your family's shoulders only. Make sure that you understand that this is the work of God, and everybody else that has come as an individual becomes as a minister who will come and carry or play their part in the ministry. And don't strangulate their skills. Make sure that you empower their skills, allow them to work, allow them to take areas or activities that they're skilled in, and let them use their talents and open up for that as well. I want to end up here. Your host, Micornus Phokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and be part of this great topic, and I'm sure you have learned out of it. You will join us as we deal with other topics going forward. But please visit our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane, and Church Governance Solutions, and make sure that you like those pages. Like the page Young Men Empowerment Forum as well, where we post materials about young men. And don't forget also to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is very important. We've got a lot of materials that we've posted there in the past that will help you. Please go there for your church to be helped. You will be able to pick up from there as well. Subscribe to that YouTube channel and be part of it. Click notification button. Make sure that you're notified when we've posted materials of this kind, so that you and your church can learn and be able to operate your church in a very good manner. I want to check out here your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Church Governance Solutions. Allow me to check out and say cheers for now.